What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Long Run Podcast. This is Adam, and I'm joined by some of my favorite people in the entire world. We're going to have a little bit of a smaller crew tonight, but that's okay. They're still my eternal brothers. And on top of that, too, they're returning straight from the last episode, something that hasn't happened in a long time, which is great to see. And today, once again, we're going to be talking about the MCU, Phase 4, and the latest TV series for them on Disney Plus called What If. But before we get into all that craziness, all this animated shenanigans, I got to introduce my guests. Joining me today, we have Ethan, aka Noodle Mage. You know him, you love him. He's back from the Shang-Chi review, and he is here to tell us all about What If. How you doing today, man?
Adam, you said this was going to be a more intimate review, but this is too much energy.
It's too much energy.
I thought we were going to have a chill review, and you came out swinging. I'm not ready.
Should I go more NPR like Jake?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
And of course, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I want to see. Okay.
I was going to say, and next to him, not literally, but
there we go.
Figuratively, we have Vince, aka V Labs, our resident animation specialist. He's still on the grind, just like he was during Shang-Chi, but he's going to be taking a break very soon, hopefully, for his mental sanity. How are you doing today, Vince?
It's been good, Adam. How are you?
Oh my God! I don't know if I can do this.
All right, well, we tried it. It's fine.
Maybe
gave it a shot.
Maybe if we had Jake here, but it's all good. It's all good. Right? We can still be chill, just not super duper oh my God energy sort of thing. So today we're going to be talking about What If. Obviously, this is the latest TV show in the MCU. Now, I know Vince in the last episode of Shang-Chi, he's talked about how he's not really caught up on MCU stuff. What about you, Ethan? Have you watched the shows on Disney Plus, or is this the first series that you've watched?
Disney Plus? No.
Yeah,
this is this is the first MCU show that I'm actually watching.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we talked about our feelings on Phase 4 in the previous review, obviously with Shang-Chi, and obviously about Shang-Chi as well. I'll just go out on a limb and say I think a lot of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus have been very, very good. Some better than others. I think Loki's, to me, the one that stands out the most. Okay. But this is actually, to my knowledge at least, this is the MCU's first animated show. Which is very, very cool to see them kind of jump into that. And also, obviously, What If, based on the famous comic book series of the same name. So it's cool to see that Marvel is actually doing this and experimenting. And one of the coolest things about the show as well is that, one, it's already guaranteed to have a season 2. So that's something that's cool to see. And I don't know if all of you guys noticed this, but they somehow managed to get most of the actors.
I was going to say that was the first thing that I was going to say is that I was surprised how many people actually came back.
Yeah, I thought it'd be like, all right, maybe like 1 or 2 or whatever, but they like got the vast majority of the cast.
The only ones that they didn't get that I noticed the most, I think, were like the main 3, which was like Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow. They didn't come back.
And even then, I thought Black Widow,
Black Widow was good.
Yeah,
whoever was good. I didn't notice.
I believe her name is Lake Bell. I think she does a great Scarlett Johansson impression. I thought she did great. So, 100%. Did you notice? Go ahead.
I think to be fair, it's also because Black Widow tends to like. I feel like whenever ScarJo does Black Widow, she does like a certain voice.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
She talks like this, very quick and like very short sentences. So I feel like it's easy to kind of fit in.
Absolutely, yeah. But to your point, Ethan, I thought like if we were gonna get anything, it would be like the standard people that you see in terms of like the main characters, right? So your Doctor Stranges, your Black Panthers, whatever. But they even got like all the side characters, like even Phil Coulson. They got the guy who played Age of Phil. They got
Natalie Portman back, and I was like,
I was shocked. They managed to get Josh Brolin for Thanos.
Brolin came back.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro for the Collector. I was like, wow, you got like everyone.
Yeah, they got everyone.
Yeah,
Disney money thick.
Damn, man.
That's probably it. Yeah, Disney money.
I mean, 100%. I'm sure the mouse had it in the contract somewhere. Listen, if you're gonna sign this contract, you got to do the animated series. The mouse don't play, bro.
I think they probably renegotiated for the animation, but like I think it was a sweet deal, and they could probably do it from home or something.
Well, I'd imagine that they had to do it from home because of the COVID-19
Yeah.
pandemic, production timelines and
Yeah.
whatnot. Actually, and we could talk about this once we get to episode 9, but this was supposed to be originally
Maybe.
10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to cut out one because of COVID-19 production delays,
Maybe
unfortunately.
that's why. Maybe that's why they all came back, because nobody was working. They're like, oh fuck it. They're like, oh, you know,
Damn.
Well, production shut down. I need some cash,
I'm gonna need an injection. I got that. So yeah.
Exactly. So I know for both of you, right? Animation is something near and dear to your heart. Art is something that's near and dear to both of your hearts. Is that why both of you decided to hop on this show instead of watching like the other previous shows? Like, what attracted you to watching What If, like compared to any of the other stuff that was out there?
You can go first, Vince.
Well, for me,
I'm surprised you watched it, Vince. Like,
yeah.
why did you watch it?
See, I was just very curious, like what the Arcane trailer just came out and had like the similar visual style as What If for League of Legends and Riot for their next Netflix series, which I'm like very hyped about. And I was actually very curious what their pipeline is, because this was a huge mix between 2D and 3D animation, because they had 2D effects over their 3D, and I was just like, oh, I wonder who the supervisor is, because this kind of looks dope.
Yeah.
And then also I came here for Captain Peggy Carter.
I see you one of those. You like this?
Oh.
You want to be domed.
Captain Carter. I want to be
Peggy.
Carried, dude.
You want to be pegged by Peggy. That's what
God.
Oh
God. All right. That was not what I was expecting to hear during this review. But listen, with peace and love, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. With peace and love. No, so for you, it was just because you saw like the similarities and whatnot, Vince.
That's just like animation style in general, where I was just like, oh, let's see what the mouse does with their big IPs.
Right. How about you, Ethan?
Basically the same. I mean, I saw the way that it looked, and I liked the concept of What If. I was like, oh, that sounds neat, what they were trying to do. And then once I saw like how it looked, I thought, oh, that does look quite nice. Yeah, because it's quite nice, like 3D, 2D effects, but like it has like the nice like almost cell shading on it, and it looks nice. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it.
Yeah, now that we're on the subject, we might as well just talk about the animation and dive right into it. So I'm the same way in terms of like I was definitely attracted to the animation style and just the fact that it was related to the MCU. I think What If, to Ethan's credit, is such a cool concept, and something that allows writers and creators to like just bend the rules a little bit and be a bit more creative instead of being constrained into a certain sandbox. I was kind of stunned too, because I've seen a lot of animated series recently that were also in kind of like the cell shaded style. I'm looking at you, Pacific Rim, The Black, and like the Godzilla animated trilogy. And I'm sorry, they're just awful. The animation is terrible. But I didn't really get that impression from watching the series. Like, yeah, it wasn't perfect or anything like that. Like, this isn't like Pixar level or something like that. But I do think that the animation overall, I was very impressed by it. Like, nothing stood out to me as like being like, wow, that looks actually terrible. And it was a good mix of 2D and 3D, but I'm sure both of you have a bit of a better eye than I do. What did you both think of the animation in the show?
I thought it was really good. You know what I liked? This was a little touch that I'll just say real quick. I liked how at the end of every episode they put like the backgrounds and like the layouts that they did. I was like, oh, that looks nice.
The background art sort of thing, the storyboard.
They put all of it. They put all of it in the credits, and I was like, oh, that's actually nice to like put it there. Actually,
yeah, I think especially from an artistic standpoint, it's just cool to see like how they go from concept to actual animation and whatnot. I thought that was very cool.
But yeah, basically overall, I thought it looked good. They were good fights. The storyboarding was fine. Like everything, like it was. It was not phoned in. The show.
Oh yeah, and that's the really cool thing too, because that they want to, they could have phoned it in easily. Could have just been like, like they're gonna watch it anyway. It's animation. Who cares? We don't gotta take it serious. But like you could tell they put a lot of effort into it. And I'm sure that has something to do with Kevin Feige still being involved intimately with these TV series. But what about you, Vince? What'd you think?
For me, like, yeah, I agree. Like, it was for what the standard is usually for 2D, 3D hybrids for right now, because like it's completely like everyone's trying to figure it out, and like you could even tell like at some point, like, because Spider-Verse Shout out to that, like being like the golden child of like being
Right.
like the first, to like actually succeed in that 2D 3D style.
Don't
But they
forget
try
the
to replicate it on TV, so it's like really interesting to see how they're gonna go about it. Uh, that being said, like yeah, you guys are right. Where I agree with the animation for what it is like good.
Mm,
Personally, I felt like it was a little bit stiff, and you could tell they were trying to go for that like realistic style, especially when it comes to like the mouth movements. I was like hoping for a little bit more, I don't know, animated like facial
right.
like animation,
Mm-hmm.
but like they went like really like a little bit too close to realism for me, where it was like really stiff. Um, Especially like with Thor's. I feel like Thor with his episode, I was just like, damn, you could go out with a lot of expressions with Thor. But I
Right.
was just like, they just moved his mouth, and I was just like, so close,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so close to for being like such a silly guy in this like in these scenarios. But a lot of it I felt like was definitely carried by the 2D effects animation
Mm-hmm.
that I saw. Was that like you'd have this like really stiff pose. There's some really stiff poses for some of the heroic shots, but like the 2D animate, like the 2D like effects, like definitely assisted that with just like trying to frame it really well and like hit that kind of stiffness, which is really cool. But for the most part, like yeah, for what 2D 3D is as like a hybrid currently, I'd say it's passable.
Oh, Vince with the harshest of critics. So passable. I see what you're saying. Just for reference for the audience, what would you say like is the at the forefront of 2D 3D animation in terms of shows, not like Spider Verse, which is a movie. Just so they
shows.
just so they
Shows.
know, like okay, this is the standard, and then this is where what if is
Shows.
sort of thing.
Like that's like it's
Shows is a
almost like a
smaller. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
smaller list for
Yeah.
shows.
It's a very
Uh,
small list with just like very minimal 3D, right? So
I
like
mean,
Legend of Korra comes in mind.
Castlevania.
I'm thinking a little bit of like certain episodes of Love, Death, and Robots, but
Right.
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's coming out to me.
Right.
Um Castlevania not really. They use like a 3D camera, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
standard in the pipeline, but like
Mm,
not like 3D assets interacting with like a 2D world,
right.
right? Or just like some 2D animation over it. I can't really think of
It's okay. It's okay.
any after Legend of Korra,
Obviously, Vince,
Spider-Verse.
the gold standard is Berserk 2016, right?
Oh no. Oh no.
That's
Pour
the gold
pour
standard.
one out for our boy. Pour one out. Uh so the animation that we talked about here,
Rest in peace, Kentaro.
what rest in
Oh,
peace. Oh my
Rest in
god.
peace. Oh, sorry.
the
Press
man
press
deserved
F.
more
Press
for
F.
his own stuff.
Maybe one day we'll get the definitive adaptation. So we talked about the animation, right? We all feel like it at the very least is passable, but I know for me and Ethan, obviously, we probably like it a little bit more than Vince. Um, Going into it though, right? Like that after that, it becomes just about purely the content, which I really do think this show is carried obviously by the IP and subsequently the performances that we were talking about before. Just being able to see these characters interact in these situations that are familiar but also very very different. So I guess we'll get right into it when it comes to episode one. What if Captain Carter were the first? Yes, Ethan. What is it?
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, go
Before-
ahead.
Before we continue, I wanted to gripe about the Disney Plus experience.
Do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was getting so fucking mad because because on Netflix when you click a show it brings you to like the episode list and then
Yep.
when in Disney it's just like fucking zooms right in and like it doesn't matter if like because like you'll be in the credits from the last episode but it'll put you there and you'll be like
Yeah.
fucking that and like I noticed when you finish the show it takes it completely off the front page. Like you have to like research it again to find it again.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to look at it again for the review, but I was like, where the fuck did it go? Like it just took it away because it was like, oh, you're done with this now, so just boop. And I was like, fuck you, Disney. But
Yeah.
in general, I hate the layout, but whatever, it's fine.
No, I agree with you. My other gripe with Disney Plus as well is that you know how like on Netflix, as soon as an episode's on, like as soon as the credits roll, it goes into I start the next episode in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Like on
yeah,
Disney Plus, like
it does
all
the
right,
same.
let's go through the entire credits. All right, now do you want to watch it? Like no,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
watch the next episode now.
yeah,
So Disney Plus, fix it. You're still doing better than HBO Max though. That's still
Yeah.
not formatted for my screen correctly.
yeah.
But anyway, so episode one, we have what if Captain Carter were the first Avenger, and naturally because of
Captain Carter.
Vince's own desires, we're gonna lead off with you, Vince. What do you think about this episode?
It's so good. It's so good. I thought it popped off. I was like, this actually makes me so hyped because like what was nice about it is that I felt like it could be a standalone like
Mm,
pilot.
mm,
Because like
mm.
like after that episode, I was like, I want more Peggy Carter. Yeah,
You
I
know, you know.
even the first Captain America, I was like, I want more of like this dynamic like whole pre-Shield
Right.
Yeah,
era.
I like the 1940s like superhero vibe. I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
nice.
You could
Yeah,
also tell too they were like influenced a little bit by like the World War II serials from back in the day, just in
yeah,
the way the style and the way it was shot. I thought that was so cool. But keep on going, Vince.
Yeah, like you could even see like the line decker and like the Mead style of painting that they did for like the 1940s. Uh, Paintings and like advertisements for like Captain America, and I was just like, yo, that's kind of a sick homage, especially for like what into the visual look, especially like what I enjoyed the characters too that we never really got to see deep enough in the first Captain America,
Hmm.
right? Like Stark,
Right.
like Grandpa Stark.
Who they also somehow got the original actor to do it too, which was
oh
crazy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
keep going.
That's so good because I'm like, yeah, I love this character. I love the first iteration of Stark Industries because like this guy is such a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
I like how Grandpa Stark is also a feminist. He's like, hell yeah, Carter. He's like, do it.
Yeah.
Because like
Do the thing, Carter.
the other guy was like, no, you can't be a soldier. You're a girl. But Stark is like, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
go, bro. Let's go.
Exactly.
Like
It's
he was
pretty
such a
funny.
great hype man.
Essentially.
Yeah, and then we got like what more into like what Steve's team was, which is now Peggy's team,
Right.
right? For this iteration. I was just like, this is cool. I've always wanted like a show about them,
Hmm.
right? Like we only got like a taste of that with the episode. I think what was really cool too was just like um the fight choreography to me was like the most solid out of
The storyboarding was
like the
real
whole
good.
show. Yeah.
What do
Fucking
you?
Vince,
Yeah.
but the thing that stood out to me about that is like the fights. I was like, these fights are so good, but I was like, she's fucking killing people, dude.
I,
Yeah.
I said the same thing. I was like,
it's
that
a
dude's dead. Yeah. Go
because
ahead.
like her shield is like hitting dudes in like the neck and like in the head, and she's like throwing them off trains, and I'm like, they're dead. They're
Yeah.
dead.
Bro, the
Absolutely.
first thing she does as a super soldier is crush a fucking Nazi truck.
Yeah,
And it's just like, they're dead. They've died.
they died. They died. What?
They get thrown off. Like,
That'd be funny if that was the difference between Peggy and Steve. Is that Peggy just fucking kills
people.
people? Peggy just fucking kills people.
Well, that was one thing that was funny too, right? It's just like we don't know anything about like Peggy's like shield. Why she's so good with the shield. You just know that she lifts so much and she likes to throw weights
Yeah.
compared to like what Steve's origin story was like. I like to throw trash can lids.
I think. Well, I guess when you get the serum, you can just do anything
Yeah,
you
you could
want.
just literally do
Physically.
whatever.
So
Uh, I, 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 I like this episode a lot as well. Kind of to what Vince was saying. I think the story branding, the choreo. I think it's a really good intro episode. Like starting off the bang sort of thing, especially because it ties into. Let's be honest, like everyone loves that scene, right? Where Peggy and Steve finally are able to share that dance. Like that pulls on the heartstrings a lot for big MCU fans. So I think it was good to revisit that dynamic, and to both of your points as well. It was so good to see this cast together again. We got a little bit of that in the Agent Carter TV series. But let's be honest, who's actually watched that? I know I haven't. Um, with peace and love to everyone there. With peace and love. So it's good to see a bit more of Haley Atwell in that role because she crushes it. I'm not 100% sure why they didn't call her Captain Britain in the show and just call her Captain Carter. I'm not sure if they're like planning
Yeah.
something else with Captain
Yeah.
Britain, but I did think that was interesting that they decided not to.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I think it was so cool to see Steve get into the pre-proto Iron Man suit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the War Machine thingy,
Yeah.
whatever. It was cool.
I thought that was very cool. And then also at the end, we see like them going into this other dimension with this tentacle monster or whatever, right? Like Cthulhu esque. I'm not sure if it's Shumagorath or something, but at the very least, this is something that we see teased not only in later episodes of this series, but also we saw that teased a little bit in the Loki TV series. So I'm wondering if this is like they're setting up this creature, whether it be Shumagorath or not, as some sort of big bad.
Maybe.
But I did think that was interesting to kind of see.
It's like every time you open a portal in Marvel, he comes out. Like
Yeah.
it's the first one. I don't know why.
Every
But-
time, man. Every time. Would
But
you?
yeah,
Anything else? I was about to say anything else you want to say, Ethan?
I thought in general, I thought all these episodes like they felt like pretty good pace wise.
Right.
Like they
Right.
covered what they needed to cover. And I thought the twist, like I guess twist at the end when she goes to the future when she gets sent forward instead of Steve,
Mhm.
and when Steve gets left behind. I thought that was neat. I thought, yeah, it was generally pretty good. The only thing that I was confused about plot wise is why Steve because like the train explodes when they're like looking for like the Nazi people or
Right.
the Hydras, and they and Steve gets blown up and he gets like trapped and bad guys basically capture him. I was like wondering like why they captured him, like why they didn't just kill
Yeah.
him. But I was like okay. Because we see him just like laying on the floor next to like his fucking war machine, like in a room somewhere, and I was like, okay, that was the only thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we do see later on. Obviously, Captain Carter makes another appearance because of the kind of crossover that
Whoa,
happens.
whoa! Spoilers, Adam.
Hold on. Oh wait, yeah. As always, it's a spoiler review and discussion.
Spoilers.
Thanks for reminding me.
Adam, that was a big moment for me. Anyway, when they all started crossing over.
Oh, we'll get there, I'm sure.
get there.
But what I was going to say is that at the end of each episode, right, it turns into like, oh, like they leave something that makes you wonder if they're going to make another episode to continue said story. And I'm
Yeah.
curious to see which of the episodes actually do get a
Another
second
one.
part or something
Yeah.
like that in the second season.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
sure that Captain Carter is one of those things that everyone would love to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, wait.
I'm excited.
But before we go to the second episode,
Yeah.
what did you guys think of the Watcher?
Oh,
Like,
d-
the
oh, dude.
Watcher. What did you think of him?
I like Jeffrey Wright, who plays the Watcher. I think that he's very good in the role, and but I also like the fact that like he goes from like observing to actually just adding a social commentary. Like he might as well have said, and,
Yeah.
and sometimes like, man, this dude's an idiot, or like, come
Yeah,
on, bro,
yeah.
you know, work. Like he was so funny.
like those shots where like he's just like in the sky and he's like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
He's going, and you're like, wow, okay.
It's so funny too because in some of the shots too, it's like just this giant ominous thing
Yeah.
in the background that like is clearly not natural, but obviously like we know it's there, but the characters don't until they actually do.
Yeah, it's
But
cool looking.
I do think it was really good. What do you think, Vince?
I thought, yeah, I definitely like warmed up to his character because I was like, the first thing I imagined with the Watcher, because like again, I'm not familiar with the Marvel series, so like
Sure.
the next thing that came to mind was Bastion
Mm-hmm.
as like the video game from like
Yeah, Rux, the narrator.
yeah, I loved him as a narrator, and like honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between him and like the Watcher. I was like, is this the same guy? I was like, that'd be amazing if it was the same guy, because I was just like, I love like the deep raspy voice, and like there's like a little slight southern twang to it too.
Yeah, that's Rux. but-
Whatever. So it's just like having him as like having the Watcher like do all this commentary is like a really cool experience, especially like up to like the end where he actually had to do something, and I was
Right,
just like,
right.
oh.
We'll get there because he had
No.
my favorite line from him is in one of those later episodes, but we'll get there. But I do think he's pretty good. I like that they didn't do like go too much into his backstory, like this is
Yeah.
who the Watcher is, and this is
Yeah.
his race, and here's what he did. Like I'm glad that they didn't have to do that.
The thing that I liked as well is the because the intro itself is pretty hype, where it's
Yeah.
like, "Come with me onto these
Yeah.
the question."
Right.
I thought like not only is it hype, I thought like it did a very good job of like because like, you have to think most people don't really know what if is like
Mhm.
because like this is their first experience with it, and like
Yes.
the idea of like so like like in that short little intro it makes sure that like every fucking person watching this is gonna be like, listen, this is not the main,
Right.
this is all different
Right.
stuff, and they're like, oh, okay, like, so I thought that was it was a smart way to do it, to make sure
Yeah,
that people don't get confused,
I
basically.
agree, and it does harken back to I mean, all of us grew up watching network TV. It does harken back to those days where like everyone gets hype at their favorite cartoons and show or whatever. And the show itself has been likened a lot to like the Twilight Zone in a certain
Yeah,
way, right? So I certainly think that the watcher kind of fills that role of the host of the Twilight Zone in terms of explaining what's going on and also doing that intro. So I think Jeffrey Wright was a great choice. Not the choice I would have thought. Like that's not the person I immediately think of when I think of the watcher,
the
but I think he knocked it out of the park. I think he's doing great.
ponder the
Uh,
question, what
what if?
if?
Yeah, it's great. All right, so episode 2.
Yeah.
What if T'Challa
Oh
became
god,
a Star
this fucking
Lord?
episode.
Yeah, this episode was wild, right?
This
Go ahead.
episode was basically like best timeline. The episode, like everything goes perfect because T'Challa became Star Lord. I was like, damn, why did that happen in the first place? But, but I guess the first thing I want to say is that I was also happy that Chadwick himself was back
Yes.
as well. Like
Hmm.
he was definitely like I think they mentioned that he was like adamant, like he wanted to come back for this role
Right.
to make sure he could do it. He did a
Hmm.
great job as always.
I think so too. Of course, rest in peace, Chadwick. Press
Yeah,
F to pay respects, pour one out, all that good stuff. I agree. I'm so happy that we were able to get this performance out of him, before he had to pass on, sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know if it was just me, but like usually in the Black Panther, or like the way he's portrayed in the movies so often is just like a like very stoic, very serious. But like in this one, he was able to cut loose a little bit. And I think that was a really good thing to see from Chadwick, who has a lot of range as an actor. We just don't see it as
that's
often.
true. That's true. Because this is a much more happy universe for chat for
For
not
everyone, for
for
everyone.
for T'Challa, yeah,
Yeah,
because he's just hanging out in space and his father's fine, basically. Even though like
yeah,
his poor dad was like wondering where the fuck did he go for
yeah,
like 10 years, he was just gone. But I thought there were like the thing that I liked a lot about this episode that I liked a lot about What If in general was all the little cameos and all the
yes,
little all the little things coming in. Like
hmm,
I liked seeing reformed Thanos. That
yes.
was very cool. Like
That was very cool.
I liked his constant joke about like because like they were kind of like lamp shading his shitty plan from
Right.
the actual movies. He's like, well, listen, it's like get rid of half the people. But I also liked seeing him with Nebula. I think her name
Hmm.
is, yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I just thought in general the episode was pretty fun. A nice little heist movie, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I think it was very fun as well. What you think, Vince?
I thought it was I pretty much like just agree with Ethan around the whole thing. I like that. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Just the fun things of just like, what if everything just was hunky
That was great.
dory?
Yeah.
Everything just went great. And like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
So it's like this is the good timeline.
yeah,
This is the best timeline. Yeah, man. It was
yeah,
cool to see. And to Ethan's point, like they got so many cameos. They even had the Black Order, which I was shocked to see
yeah.
kind of being there.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro returns as the Grand Master, or excuse me, the Collector. And it was so interesting to see him like have all the gadgets, like because you never see Collector actually fight, but in this, like he's like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
person with all the gadgets in the universe, sort of thing, which is really
Mm.
cool. Howard the Duck is in the episode. I was
Hell
like,
Yeah.
what? I was like, that's a reach, but we're getting Howard the Duck. Oh, what you think of that, Ethan?
I was gonna say, speaking of Howard the Duck and all this crazy, I kind of feel like like the Marvel cosmic setting that they
Yes.
have.
Uh-huh.
I almost feel like it works really well or even better in animation for me a little bit.
Well, yeah, no, see, that's a really good point, and this is the thing I suppose a tangent that we can kind of go on. I feel like in animation, there are things that they can do here that they simply would not be able to do like live action.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and
totally.
we'll talk about that in episode 5, especially.
Mm.
But there's a lot of things animation wise that you can get away with that you just can't get away with live action, whether because of how graphic it looks or how expensive it would be to actually make it.
The expensives, yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you that there's a lot of really cool
So
stuff
I
here.
thought that the collector's collection, I felt like
Hmm.
it came across better in this movie for me because
Yes,
I was like, wow,
yes.
you can just see all this like random little crap just everywhere and
Hmm.
just all the little stuff they can put in. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was also cool to see too, just like how much of a tank Thanos is. Like he
Yeah,
was just like
yeah.
go without me. I'll hold them up. And just like literally fights everyone.
What was the thing? He said something so fucking cool, but I forget what he fucking said. He was like,
Yeah,
because
I forget
like
too.
the Mad Titan or something. He said like I'm getting mad or something. I forgot what he fucking said, but like it was
Yeah.
so. But when he went to go fight like the Black Order, I was like, oh, let's do this. Like,
Yeah, it was
was
so
so good.
cool, man. It was so cool. I do agree with Ethan too. It was so weird with like, what's his name? Like, the whole episode is leading up to the point, right, where Michael Rooker, who's reprising his role as Yondu, like where T'Challa finds out, wait, you said that my like homeland died or whatever, or that it was
Yeah.
destroyed, and then like, like you're expecting it to be this huge conflict, and then like T'Challa's eventually like, nah, it's okay, man. Let's just go for a visit. And then they just
Nice.
like they meet and have a giant dinner and everything's fine. Like
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just everything, like everybody, like nobody died while he was gone. Everything's the same. It just slipped right back in. I was
yeah,
like, okay.
T'Challa's dad didn't try to kill Yondu or anything like
No,
that for
no.
taking his son. It was just like, oh, thanks for bringing him back. Like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. Still really, really cool episode. And again, I can't express enough. It was just really good to see Chad in that role again. And to be able to really be his swan song for the character in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I read actually? That they were going to do a separate spin-off show of this.
Oh, really?
Of this set. Yes, they were thinking
Wow.
they were highly considering it. But yeah, because they were gonna do a whole like Star-Lord T'Challa like series by himself. But then like obviously like he
Yeah.
passed away. So fucking what? God damn it. God damn it again.
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's another cool thing that I love about the show is that in a way, kind of like what Vince was said about episode 1, each of these is almost like a pilot's on its own, right?
Yeah,
Of just like testing out, like, hey, like, what does the audience think of this episode or this concept, right? And whatever is really successful, they can easily just be like, all right, well, new series, here we go, giving the people what they want. And I think that's part of the appeal and what's so cool about What If is that you can take a creative risk, and then if it doesn't fly, it's just like, oh, well, it's an animated show, or oh, alternate universe, don't worry about it. So there's like almost no risk at all in that way, so you could go kind of bonkers. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this episode, Vince, before we get to episode 3?
No, let's move on.
Hi, man. So episode 3, I love this episode, man. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? I thought this was such a good episode. This was so good, man. So definitely not my favorite episode. I think that's still episode 5, but I love this episode, man. I remember as it was happening, I was like, what is actually killing all of them? Like I was really invested in the story.
See, I'm surprised that you didn't. Okay, because I didn't get the twist because I forgot that character existed basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought because when the twist was revealed, I was like, oh, probably like every other Marvel fan like knew it was coming, but like I had no fucking idea.
No, I didn't either. I was like, cool. How are they killing everyone?
What's happening? It's funny as well because I didn't watch these episodes in order. Like I watched. This was the first episode that I watched actually.
Interesting.
So it was because I was like, I want to see the fucked up episode first. I want to watch them all die basically. But yeah, no, I thought like you said, Adam, this was a really good episode. I thought they all fucking die.
Yeah.
Geez.
It's also cool too because it's also almost like a retrospective on the series because so many of the scenes that we know and love from Thor or the original Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, whatever, are recreated just with a twist. And that's part of the fun of What If is that like we're seeing these scenes and these set pieces that we know and love, but with a different added twist that adds into this kind of story.
It was interesting to see it recreated like that in animation.
Yeah.
Like seeing Thor get the hammer, but he gets shot or something at the
end.
And you're like, oh.
I was like, oh my
God.
Right? Or like when the Hulk is about to Hulk out and then it gets shot and then literally just explodes.
I didn't need to see that. I didn't see fucking Hulk explosion.
Well, now, Vince, for you, I know you said that you haven't seen all the MCU movies. So how did you feel about this episode, given that it does ride on that kind of, I wouldn't say nostalgia, but just like knowledge of what happened in the past?
Yeah, no, like it was such a ride that I was just like, what is happening? Why is everyone dying? Like
everyone's dying.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who is this? Who's doing this?
Yeah.
I was like, I will say like once the episodes started going to territories where like I didn't watch like any MCU movies, I was like, who is this? I was like, oh shit, that's a way to die.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was cool because, especially like I said before, they got a lot of the
Nick Fury
a
was
lot
back.
of the yeah, they got a lot of the cast back. But I think the other cool things too, it's not just about in this episode, right? Just the threat who we find out is Hank Pym. But also like there's that ticking time bomb, right? Of the Asgardians, and Loki comes down, is
Yeah,
basically about to like declare a war on the
yeah,
planet, and of course Tom Hiddleston in his full glory is in the role as well,
yeah.
and he's going
Mhm.
all out in it, and you could tell how much he just loves playing as Loki, man. It's evident everything that he does. But I did think that it was cool that they added that as a secondary conflict, and then kind of put it into the end for
Yeah, that was really
like
smart.
yeah,
Yeah,
as a way to like kind of wrap things up in a
yeah,
nice little bow. But I also think too, kind of like what we were saying before, this is yet another example of how Phase 4 is talking a lot about grief, and like how like that's literally why Hank Pym does all of it, right? It's because he's grieving over his lost daughter and all this other stuff.
hmm
So it's interesting to kind of see that they're still continuing to really delve into that theme, and we'll see where it actually goes in terms of the other films. But clearly, something that is on the mind of a lot of the writers over there at Marvel. But yeah, great episode. What are you gonna say, Ethan? Go ahead.
I was gonna say once again, God help the poor parents that have to explain to their kids that like multiple timelines are a thing because they're gonna
Yeah.
be like, why did Iron Man die? And it's like, listen, listen, like it's not real. It's a
Listen,
different one.
remember what the Watcher said in the intro.
Yeah,
Remember what
what
he
if?
said.
What if? What if? What if?
What?
But yeah, great, a very good episode. And again, like I had no idea that Scarlett Johansson wasn't there for like most of it until like the very end. I was like, oh wait, it's not her. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it was very cool, and
yeah,
also there was a bit of foreshadowing too. Because remember, because they almost called Captain Marvel, and it was later on, like in another episode, where Captain
mhm,
Marvel actually does show up. So I thought that was a little bit nice of a foreshadowing.
yeah.
Um, what was the? Do you guys remember what was the ending of this episode? Was there a teaser? I forget.
Yeah, well,
Um,
basically, like because after at the end of the episode, Loki decides to keep like invading, basically,
oh
and
yes.
basically Nick is like, "Don't worry, there's always heroes left," and basically like Steve is still alive because he was frozen, so Hank couldn't get
Oh
to him.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Oh
right. I
yeah,
forgot.
it's gonna be basically just him and whoever they can find to
Yeah.
take on Loki.
It's
Yeah,
it's gonna be the B team, Falcon will be there,
yeah, yeah,
they'll find out War Machine, you know.
yeah. Basically, yeah.
It's all good though. Yeah, man, I love this episode. Anything else you guys want to say before we go on to episode 4?
All right,
All right, we're going to episode 4. So,
here we go.
what if
Darker. This
this was a dark
is
episode,
a
man?
dark
What
episode.
if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Um, man, like the only thing I have to say is like, God, it felt sadistic in a way, seeing the car crash so many times and him go back in
Yeah,
time
yeah.
over, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, bro, I don't know if I could keep on watching
I was
this,
gonna
man.
say like that. That's like it was like anime fucked up levels of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just watching her because he's getting more and more desperate each time because he
Oh
knows
yeah.
what's happening. So he's like, please let's go home instead. Let's do this. Let's do blah, 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 blah. Like
Yeah.
I don't wanna do this. And he's like, and she's like, but like she has no idea. So like every
Yeah.
time it's just like what's going on. But like yeah, it got pretty dark
It
just
was
every time.
dark, man. It really was. And the thing is, too, I remember in the original movie, the car crash happened, and it was an intense crash in that movie,
It
too.
was
I was like, did Michael Bay direct this crash? What the
yeah.
hell?
It was
And
like
then
a
it,
jump scare. It was a jump scare in
yeah,
the movie. I
for
was like, oh
real.
shit.
And then in this one, it was just like, okay, well, they're not going to get in the limo this time. We'll be fine. Like, no, even when they're getting pizza, something happens. Like, this poor
Yeah.
guy, man. This
Just no
poor,
matter
poor guy.
what. Yeah.
Now, Vince, did you watch the original Doctor Strange or not? Right?
No, so I went
I-
into here completely
Yeah.
blind and being like, "Yo, what the
What
fuck
the
am I
hell's going
watching
on?
right now?"
What the f-
I
This is
was
how
like, "Is
Marvel
this an
is.
episode of Ray Zero? Hello?"
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
man.
was. It
Go
was
ahead.
wild to see that, like, Tazio was just like, "Okay, what the fuck is Doctor Strange about?" And you
Mhm.
yeah,
just see this man being like, I haven't seen the whole movie,
Of
so I don't
course, of
even know what
course.
happens at the end, or I'm just like, yo,
yeah,
this man like desperately honestly, like you take pity on him because he just keeps absorbing all these like creatures, and you just like
Yeah.
he's becoming like this creature, and then like you see what's his face, one of the elders, that black guy, I forget what his name is.
I forget what his name is too. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah. The guy at the library or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah. The
was.
library
Yeah,
keeper is what we'll call him, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, he was cool. But I was just like, he's like, you're only like half a man.
I can't believe that
Yeah.
guy didn't stop him. Like that
Yeah.
guy didn't stop him at all. He's just like, oh, this guy's doing some fucked up shit. Oh, well.
Hmm.
Oh, well. It's
Oh
not my
man, he
job.
only called me half human.
Yeah.
Better go get that time squid to reverse all of it.
Yeah.
I like this episode too because this is where we get a bit more of the Watcher, not only just observing, but also, let's be honest, like talking shit. Like he's like, there's definitely a part where he's just like, oh god, this motherfucker's going doing it again. Like he just won't stop. Like,
He
come on,
was
guys.
he was really critical of Doctor because like at the end he basically comes in, right? Like and
Yeah,
he like because what happens, this is the first time that we see that once you get all the Infinity Stones and you sort of ascend, you can see
right,
the Watcher.
right.
And so he sees the Watcher and he's like, because eventually at the end of the episode, like spoilers, he once he brings back, I forget her name. She
Rachel McAdams' character, I forget her name too, but I know it's
once he
Rachel
brings
McAdams.
back
Yeah.
Rachel's character, like basically like because the whole episode people are telling him like you can't, if you bring her back, everything else will just fall apart. And he brings her back and everything starts falling apart. And he's like, oh, like basically like the universe starts like collapsing, you know, if it's on itself because like the timeline's all fucked up now. And he's trying to beg the Watcher to like fix it, like can you stop this? But the Watcher's like, no, fuck
Yeah.
you, like no, fuck you, like. And he's like, oh. And yeah,
That's
it's so sad because he ends up in this like literally just like a bubble, like
Yeah.
by himself in a void. It's like
was it a
it's like
bubble? Is this supposed like what confused me the most was like, is this supposed to be like the time stone? Because like his universe turned into a crystal, and I was just like, what?
So I don't think it's a time stone. I think that's more just how they visualize the several different timelines. Like they talk about the intro, right? Like, oh, I don't see it this way. It's like I see it as like a reflections or whatever sort of thing.
like TVs.
Oh my, like
Oh,
CRTs.
shit.
Like TVs, yeah. Like you
Uh,
just watch
CRT.
So I looked it up, by the way. Rachel McAdams' character is Dr. Christine Palmer. So is it Christine?
Yeah, Christine. That's right. How could I
Right.
forget? He says Christine's name like the whole fucking episode. Christine.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool to see too that the ancient one also like makes an appearance, and even the
Yeah.
ancient one's like, man, come on, like you gotta stop. I'm telling you, please don't do it.
I thought it was cool what she did though with the two timelines.
Right.
Because I was like oh wait, there's another, because when I saw the other Doctor Strange, I thought it was like, for a second I thought it was like the main one.
Mhm.
And so I thought like, oh, he's gonna, that's how the episode ends, he's gonna like beat him and fix it, but no,
Right.
he just fucking dies. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? And like,
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, where am I?
Oh,
It threw me off guard.
it's such a dark episode too, and then it's just heartbreaking too when he does bring Christine back, right? And like Christine sees him, and then it like turns into a monster, and
Yeah,
then
she has
she's
no
all
idea.
scared, and then it's just
Yeah.
like, oh god, man, like it's such
Yeah.
a tragedy. It really
And she
is.
comes back for like 5 seconds and is terrified and then dies again.
Yeah,
And
like,
it's
bro, all that effort.
Yeah.
It really. I was not expecting this series to get that dark, and this is exactly what I think Ethan was saying before about how like you could not do this live action. One, obviously, be super expensive, but also like I think
yeah, the
I
ending.
think like
Yeah.
having it
Yeah.
be in live action would just be like a little too close to home, sort of thing, in terms of like despair and like just sadness for the MCU in a way.
Mhm. It's funny how much the Watcher's shitting on like I guess they call him like, I think like Strange Supreme or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's what they
correct.
call him.
Mhm.
And it's funny how much he shits on him, but like minor spoilers, like he needs him later, like
Yeah.
and like he's so nice to him later, like well, whatever. But
Yeah, this is all full spoilers, by the way,
Yeah.
guys. So whoever's listening, like, you were already warned before, so we're
Yeah.
gonna be talking all about it. But yeah, man, I really like this episode. I think Benedict Cumberbatch does a really good performance. Personally,
Mm.
I won't. I'm not gonna say it's like Oscar worthy or anything like that, but you can tell the desperation
Yeah.
and the sadness in his performance. And also, I think for him specifically, it helps that he's had experience in doing voice acting. He was Smaug in the Hobbit
Oh
movies.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he
I
was
forgot about
also
that.
he was also played Shere Khan in a Jungle Book movie, not the one
Oh.
by Disney, a different one.
Yeah.
So he has that experience, and I'm sure that helped out a lot in his performance here.
Interesting.
I mean, you say that. I'm like, you can actually see, like, you can actually hear who has experience in voice acting
Yeah,
versus who doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be a podcast in of itself, but it is worth saying that voice acting in itself is a similar but very different skill compared to acting on camera or on stage or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so many legendary voice actors, right, who are very, very well known. But yeah, that's a different discussion.
all right.
Yeah.
Different discussion.
did
Let's
you-
get. Oh, go ahead.
Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add, or should we go on to the next one?
I did think it was kind of cool. Like one thing I want to point out, similar to what Ethan said about episode 2 in the collector's kind of thing in his I guess his collection. You see the little knickknacks. I did think it was cool in that what Strange is doing in the library. There was like little knickknacks here and there, and kind of like little references. And I'm sure there are plenty of
Mm.
18 Easter eggs you missed in What If out there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
there's a lot of little stuff in there, so I thought that was cool.
YouTube channel's eating good. With What If. Yeah.
All right, let's get on to episode 5, which is one that
Another one.
I've
Ooh.
heard so many people talk about. What if zombies? Now, of
What
course,
if?
now this is based on the very famous Marvel comic book, Marvel
Yeah.
Zombies. I believe Robert Kirkman, the author of The Walking Dead, did the first few. Not that it's a particularly deep story, but I remember reading Marvel Zombies growing up too. I thought it was a very cool concept, very very fun. What'd you both think about this episode?
You can go first, Vince.
For me, like I thought the episode was just like pure fun and bliss. I was, I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. Like, what if? And it was just like, if these zombies did attack, I was just like, what would happen? And like, you see, I
Yeah.
really understand why Bruce Banner was the one who first iterated it and be like, I gotta warn them. And you just see like Iron Man drop down, and you're just like, oh, I'm saved, and we're just like,
Oh yeah,
oh, shit.
the way they drop us in is so good because like
Right.
Bruce is off planet and he comes back and then he's like, where'd everybody go? And
Yeah.
it's just all these fucking zombies come out and they're like Iron Man, Captain, and Strange, and you're like, oh great, oh
I
no,
was like,
Oh my
oh
God.
shit. I was just like, yeah, I'd be pretty terrified. I'm like, this was a pretty fun episode. I will say, like, a lot of things that turned me off was the voice acting because I was just like, man, the guy who plays Bruce Banner fucking sucked. The same thing with
you know, he wasn't the best, no, but yeah.
I was like, some of the voice acting, I was just like, ooh, this is really icky.
It was actually Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, but hey,
Yeah.
let's cut him some slack. But anyway, keep going, Vince.
It was like, aside from like the iffy voice acting, I was like the whole storyline with like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I was just like, holy shit, I can't believe this started with the Ant-Man.
Of course it did. The fucking quantum thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Quantum
yeah,
zombie.
no, like I'd fuck with that. It was like the same thing too, with, like
Yeah.
the Wasp. Do we have a movie with the Wasp?
There's no like only Wasp movie. She appears in the first Ant-Man, and then the second Ant-Man movie is literally called Ant-Man the Wasp. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch the Ant-Man. If you guys didn't know,
the original Ant-Man movie is a very fun time. I will say that I will die on that hill. But keep going, Vince.
yeah, I was just like, again, like I was a little confused on like who the fuck was talking because like most of like the white guys with brown hair kind of all look the same as his character design wise. I was like, who's this headless corpse talking to me? I mean, like, who's this bodiless headless
Oh, the body.
man
Yeah.
talking to me right now? I was like, who is that? And the Vision comes in. I was just like, what? Huh? And then Bruce Banner comes in with his dumb one-liners, and I was just like, who's talking to me right now? He looks like the guy who's headless.
I see. Well, did you like the whole setup with Vision and Wanda, where like Vision was like hiding out?
Yeah, because of Wanda, I was just like, yeah, no. If Wanda was like the last person you want to be a zombie with, I'd be like, yeah, no, we're totally fucked if that ever happened. I love that scenario where it's just like, yeah, no, she's the atomic bomb that you really don't want to mess with.
Yeah. The Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. What'd you think of this episode, Ethan?
I thought it was good as well. It was just like it's something like we never would have seen this like anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
this is the only place they could have done something like this, where it's just like fuck it, zombies.
Mhm.
But I also respected that the episode ends on such a dour note.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like they don't like oh, don't worry, Spider-Man will do it. Like no, like they pan out and it's like nah, he lost. And like Thanos is a zombie and it's done. It's done. And it's like oh okay, like. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like this episode a lot. There are a couple things I want to point out. One, it was cool to see a lot of the lesser known heroes kind of highlighted. Like we had Bucky, we had Okoye, and there we even had like Happy Hogan in there. Like it was cool to see. And I also he was the guy that they made the joke about, like who was like, oh, aren't you an Uber driver? He's like, I'm a chauffeur, excuse me,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
He's part of like Spider-Man's like cast,
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
camping.
he's also an Iron Man too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. The fun fact is that the actor who plays him, John Favreau, he was the director of Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2.
Mm.
But anyway, so I didn't know this until after, but I thought the person who played Peter, I thought that was Tom Holland. It's actually not Tom Holland.
No,
But
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
it's
I
not
noticed
Tom Holland.
immediately. I noticed
yeah,
immediately. I was like, "That's not Tom Holland.
I,
That's
Not
not
his
Tom Holland."
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed immediately. I was like,
I,
"That's
I
not him."
I didn't notice it at first. Maybe that's just because I felt like the dialogue was so on point. But
Mm.
that's not something I noticed until I looked it up after. I like this episode because they could have gone full horror movie, like very like dour, but this felt a lot more like a horror comedy, like your Shaun of the Dead's or What We Do in the
Yeah,
Shadows sort of thing.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
They
I can
definitely
see
like
that.
straddled the line between like going too dark with it. Yeah,
yeah, there was definitely a couple of times where I was like, okay, guys, like we could have like you didn't need to relieve the
yeah.
tension that quickly, sort of thing. But also, like, it's Marvel. I get it. Like, there's a couple limitations here. And
It was
this was actually an episode where I felt like I kind of wanted an extra like 10-15 minutes, like because we meet
Yeah,
Vision and we're literally there for like 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, by the way, I'm an evil mastermind. Look, there's Wanda. Like, I was like, wait a second, hold
yeah,
on. Like, this is moving so quick.
yeah.
Um, but you know, like I get it because they're working only with 30 minutes or so, right, per episode. So
Mhm.
I do think, given how successful it seemingly this What If series has been, in the future, if they extend those like maybe just even a little bit, 10-15 minutes, I think it would go a long way in terms of fleshing out the characters as well as the story a little bit, so it doesn't like go as quick, sort of thing.
It could
Um,
even be. It could even be that the Marvel Zombies is gonna get a part two. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So who knows what the future holds? But I like this episode a lot. I do think that it does really a lot of very creative things, and also again, it just you could tell that they're taking inspirations from the comics, not only What If, but also the entire Marvel Zombies run, which
Mhm.
is very very cool to see always. Um, Anything else you want to say, Vince or Ethan?
no, I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
I enjoyed that a lot. I hope there was another What If Zombies.
I
I
enjoyed it a
wouldn't.
lot too, man. The jokes were hitting for me, like the Uber driver one. I cracked up during that one. That one was so good.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, one thing I also want to point out too, kind of like what we were saying before. Again, a lot of little throwbacks to previous Marvel movies. Like there's that scene where Bucky is facing off against Zombie Cap, and then Zombie Cap throws the shield and he catches it, just like in the Winter Soldier. Little Easter eggs, little things for the fans, little attention to detail that I think go a long way. Okay, so let's get to episode 6 with everyone's favorite villain
Oh
in
my
the
god.
MCU.
So if can I say if Star Lord T'Challa is the best timeline, then
Yeah.
Killmonger becoming Black Panther is like the worst. You're like, oh shit. It's like everything just goes bad. You're like, oh no, damn
So,
it.
so episode 6 is what if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. So as we harkening all the way back to the literal beginning of the MCU, right? Iron Man 1 has Tony Stark. He's in the Middle East. His convoy gets assaulted by the 10 rings, or what we thought was the 10 rings at the time. And then he gets kidnapped, and it goes through this transformation where he realizes that, hey, I need to become a hero. Like, you know, it humbles him
Yeah.
basically. That's his hero's journey, right?
But instead,
But instead, in this
Humble.
episode, your boy
instead he does
Killmonger,
not get humbled.
yeah,
Killmonger comes in and saves him, and he just goes right back to being a shithead because he doesn't have to go through anything.
yeah,
You know?
I was about to. I'm so glad you said that, because there's one thing that I really noticed in this episode is one is like, God, like Stark was a total shithead. Like,
He was
fuck
an
this
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's such an asshole.
He was a war profiteer. So yeah, he was a complete jerk. Like he starts to become like a little bit better with
Yeah,
because he wants to help Killmonger a little bit.
yeah,
But like he's still like super party like don't care about anything. Let's just build guns kind of
yeah.
guy.
Always
It's
thinks
very
he's the
different.
smartest guy in the room, no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
not
And
humbled at
honestly,
all.
can I say like well two things. The guy that's the voice actor that's doing Tony in this like he did okay, but
Right,
like but he sounded a little bit like wimpy and like shrimpy compared to like Robert Downey. I thought, but it kind of
right.
fit because
Mm,
because this Stark is such a shithead.
yeah,
But that and like I thought that like the model that they made for like visually how he looked to like to try and make him look like Robert Downey, like he looked kind of weird. like his
yeah.
like his mouth was so pink and like I don't know, like it was really weird. I was like, he just looked kind of weird to me. So that took me out a little bit, but otherwise, like this episode was pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. The episode was wild. What do you think, Vince?
No, I agree. Like with Ethan, where I was just like, there's something uncanny about Stark in this
There's
episode.
something he looked kind of weird, right? Yeah, he looked. I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, like,
But like it was on point for the most part. Like I enjoyed Michael B. Jordan's. Like, I always enjoyed Michael B. Jordan's like acting,
yeah,
and
he
like
came
he
back. I was
has
like, wow.
Yeah,
experience.
man, he did.
He has experience in voice acting because he did what Genlock with Rooster Teeth.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he was in Love, Death, and Robots too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was in
was. He
that.
was. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did a great
But
job.
no, he did a fantastic job with that. His reprise is like Killmonger. I was just like, yeah, this is pretty solid. Killmonger is still kind of an asshole. Where I was just like,
Oh, of
is he even?
course.
It's like, is he even justified in this whole thing?
No,
Because like, I don't even understand what this going on in this timeline. Sometimes where I'm just like, wait, is he really justified or is he just being a dick?
Yeah.
it's funny because I was watching this. I was like, oh, like while watching Black Panther, I was like, what if like Eric didn't grow up on the wrong side? What if he was a hero? He'd be so good. I thought they're going to through this episode, and there's a
No.
part of me that's like, no, Eric was always destined to be an ass. Like he was always supposed to be an asshole, which is okay. Like because I still think it's such an interesting character and such a
Yeah,
compelling villain. But damn, man, like. I remember during the fight between him and Tony, I was like, man, I don't really like either of you, man. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, I was
also
like,
such a weak ass fight too. And I was just like, hey, I
yeah.
built your robot for you. He's like, thanks. It was like, he
Yeah.
just throws a spear at him, which completely misses every vital spot.
Can I also say, like, I was like, why didn't you just like shoot him, Tony? Like,
Yeah.
he was
Just
fighting him,
fucking
and he's just
shoot
like
him.
watching him, and he's like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh fuck. And yeah, he just fucking but then like he destroys the robot and he kills Tony, and it's like Tony dies a lot in this show. Like,
Yeah,
he dies in like every episode he's in.
but basically, man,
Yeah.
there's a part of me that wonders if it's supposed to be like a character thing where like Tony is so arrogant that he thinks, oh, I built this robot, like I'm completely bulletproof, like there's no way he can beat the robot, and of course
Maybe.
Killmonger's gonna beat the robot. He's the one who designed it, like of course he is.
Yeah.
I like how it was just like it was funny too. They're like designing the robot too. He's like, I like anime. And I'm like, that's just Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
just
even- I was
that's
like, I don't even
Michael
think
B. Jordan.
I don't even think Killmonger likes anime.
Yeah.
Even Killmonger's costume in the original Black Panther is modeled off of like Vegeta's like battle suit sort of thing. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a Michael B. Jordan influence. The other thing I like too is when Rhodey comes in and it's like trying to explain to like I think it was Tony and Pepper, like who Killmonger's like, this guy's is real dangerous. He goes behind enemy lines, he befriends people, and then he kills them. And Tony's like, yeah, but we're friends. Like Tony's definitely the guy that's like, I'm not racist. My best friend is black. Like 100%.
Yeah.
100% Tony is that guy,
Yeah.
man.
Nice.
I like the oh, go ahead, Ethan.
I was gonna say something else because like on another funny note, like I forget the general's name, the War Machine guy.
Rhodey.
Yeah, well, not Rhodey, the villain, the villain of the first movie, who set Tony up.
Obadiah Stane. Obadiah Stane.
Stane. Yeah, I thought it was so funny the way that Obadiah just got so fucking caught.
Yeah.
He's like
so
Tony, I
good.
don't know about this guy, but then Michael B. Jordan's like, I have a fucking PowerPoint of like evidence, like ready. And he's just like, and then he just gets dragged off, and it's just done. It's like, wow, okay, like the whole villain just gets destroyed in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was cool just to see where it all went, right? Because they even brought back Andy Serkis for as Ulysses Claw, and then like T'Challa gets there and then he gets killed. It's like, oh, come on, guys! Like,
Yeah, that was
even
fucked up.
yeah, it was fucked up, and even in I like the battle scene too. In Wakanda, I thought that was really well done. Where we're riding like rhinos or whatever. Like, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It was also cool. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was a little confused about like because like basically like Killmonger's setting up the whole thing, like all of it.
Yeah,
And like he's like, okay, like basically just have the robots march in and then we'll close the shield and like it'll cut them off and they won't have to we just win.
yeah.
But then like why did he just turn them back on again? Like
Oh,
why would like was it just to like get more points at that point? Like
yeah, I think it was just to get more points and to show like, oh, I'm the hero that saved Wakanda because I went into battle or whatever.
I see.
sort of thing. That's the way I interpreted it, at least. I also thought it was really cool as well to see Angela Bassett, the queen of Wakanda or whatever, go into battle too,
Yeah.
because we never saw that in the original movies. So I thought that was cool to see.
That's
I like how what's it called? T'Challa's dad is just like, oh, nephew, I haven't seen you in so long. What's up? Like, wait a second, shouldn't you like be a little?
Knowing everything that happened. Yeah.
Didn't
it's
you like? Weren't you the one who kicked out your brother in the first place because he did some?
Yeah.
One of those things. But
You see- too nice,
again,
I guess. Yeah.
not as much time to run with, so I was a bit forgiving in that regard.
Yeah. It was that moment when Killmonger like drinks the potion and he like sees T'Challa on the other side. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh
god,
my
like,
god. That was my favorite moments. He's like, was it worth it?
yeah,
He's like,
was it
yeah.
worth it?
She's like, yo, what a dick.
Oh
That
my
was so
god.
fucked up. That's like it's like he poisoned the fucking Black Panther like realm. He's just there now. That's fucked
Yeah.
up. Like,
I think that they also I'm sure it was on purpose in a way, particularly because of Chad, obviously. But I felt like the realm of that, when the Black Panther realm, whatever they call it, like art perspective wise, I thought it looked absolutely beautiful. Like the way
oh yeah,
the
it
colors,
always
everything.
looks like the whole design for that like thing, like how they show it has always
Yeah,
looked good with like
it's
the Panthers
incredible.
looking at you and you're like,
Yeah.
oh god.
I came to listen, man. I took the wrong turn. Let me go back
Oh
there.
my god.
It was good, man. This was a good episode. And again, I think really the heart of this episode is just to show how much people like Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger, and
Yeah.
that there's certainly a
Yeah.
hunger to see more of him in the MCU. Anything else you guys want to say before we get to? Oh yeah, go ahead, Ethan.
Can I say that the late like the voice actress that did Pepper did not like
Uh,
terrible. That was honestly that was for me like it almost took me out of it
yeah.
because like she's so flat like the whole time. Like
Mhm.
she like even after like Stark got killed, she basically just didn't care. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that there was a lot more room to like do more with the performance there, but she was just like just reading her lines basically.
Yeah. And now that you're bringing it up too, I also thought it was weird how like Tony died and immediately Thunderbolt Ross is like, all right, it's time to declare a war on Wakanda. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't you like talk to
Yeah.
the president or like get Congress approval or something?
There's
Like,
definitely an aspect of that to What If because it's one episode. Like
yeah,
sometimes things kind of happen.
yeah,
Like basically, like, I feel like Killmonger's whole plan, where he's just like backstabbing all these people like so quickly, and like it's one of those things where like it feels really fast, but it's like because like, they only have so much time. Like
exactly.
they basically just have to fucking be like, ah, it's fine.
Yeah.
He does that, and then he did that, and then blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just move the story along, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, episode 6 definitely a really good one. So now we're getting to episode 7.
Oh boy.
What if Thor were an only child? And listen, let's be honest.
Oh my
This
god.
this is just Thor summer vacation, man. Like,
It is. It's
what
great.
a hilarious episode, man. What you both think?
All right, you go first, Vince.
What a fucking wild ride of a fucking episode, dude. I was like, what is even happening? It's like, you know what? I can't even be mad. This is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I was like, I can't even be mad. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on with Captain Marvel, but I was just like again, I didn't watch her movies. So I was like, is she supposed to be this indestructible?
Yeah.
I was like, is she supposed to be this broken of a character? I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit. At the same time, I'm like, I guess Thor could compete with her.
I thought my feelings were like I feel like you summarized it there. This whole episode is just like I can't even be mad. I can't like this is
How the duck was there, and you're just like, she
I
just
can't even be mad.
fucked the duck, and I was like, I can't be mad.
Yeah, I
I
thought
can't be mad.
honestly like this might be my favorite or like one of my favorite episodes. Like it's definitely like top 2, top 3 of
Yeah.
the episodes.
Oh.
I really liked it.
It was so because again it goes back to like they would never see this live action, right? They're not gonna make a summer vacation movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they're able to do it in animation, and the way they do it is so unique because like okay, let's be honest, like we all know Thor's a little dumb, you know, he ain't the smartest guy on the
Yeah.
Avengers, you know, that's
This literally
Tony.
made Thor fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
What if
Like,
Thor was
this
just
is-
stupid? Yeah.
Like, it's like, what if Thor was stupid and lacked responsibility?
Yeah. Basically. And I kind of dug it. Like I kind of liked like shitty college bro Thor like a little bit more. Like I was like, damn, he's kind of fun. Like because I don't know, maybe I just like them big and dumb. That's my type. But like I thought that like because like the way he interacts with Natalie Portman, where she's literally just thirsty. I was like, this is great. I was like, this is great. Like she's literally just like yo, this guy's so tall. I love him. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. Now I thought the chemistry was like I enjoyed it more in this cartoon than I did in the original fucking
Oh,
movie.
I'm
Yeah.
with you 100%, and it's so funny too the way like Thor's like trying to spit game like now Parker's coming to like, hey, like you're an alien, this is like nominated. It's like, oh yes, thank you for bringing me this tablet full of knowledge. I'm sure it's great. You're so much smarter than all the other women I've met. Like, oh come on, man, like he's sliding into the DMs real quick. And I think it's a testament also to Chris Hemsworth just being such a good actor. Like I think he nails the comedic timing of Thor so well as the character,
Yeah.
and I'm really happy to see that he was able to be able to reprise his role not only in this episode but also in the entire series. And it was cool again just to say like that there's all these like little cameos, like you see the Grand Master around, you see like the Warriors 3, Lady Sif, even Loki. Loki's joining in on the party too.
Yeah.
Brother, hey, brother.
Fucking
like,
giant
this
Loki.
is so stupid.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's not even regular Loki. It's like Frost Giant Loki. So he's like gigantic. I love the part where Natalie's trying to get in contact, like, hey, yo, Thor, where you at? Like, she's missing it, right? And then Loki just like crushes the phone or whatever. It's like, whoops. It's like, oh god, Loki's still causing trouble even when he's a Frost Giant. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, what did you guys think of Captain Marvel in this? What did you think of her?
What would you? I know you said obviously like very overpowered, Vince, but as someone who I don't think you've seen Captain Marvel,
I've never seen Captain Marvel.
Yeah, what would you think of her first impression and kind of like how she was written?
First impression, honestly, I enjoyed her as like the person to clean up, and she's just like, I don't even know what she does. Like, is she supposed to like?
She's the galactic cop, basically.
She's the galactic cop. All right.
Yeah, basically, the way it's always framed is that Avengers protect Earth, but she protects everything else. That's like supposed to be her job, basically. Okay. So she flies around from planet to planet, like fixing stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because like most of the time, I was just like, damn, I was like, we gotta call. I was like, bring me the button. It's just like a beeper, and I was just like, what the fuck button. Do kids even know what a beeper is, dude?
Yeah, the reason for that is because it was like her movie Vince is set in like the 90s, basically. Yeah. So that's why it was a beeper.
She's technically like the first superhero or before Captain America, technically, because that was World War II. But like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like she was fun. Honestly, like I enjoyed her character and her interactions with like with Thor. I was like, this is a great like 1v1. I was just like, who would win in a fight? Thor.
It was a good
Captain
dynamic.
Marvel.
Well, not even Thor, like shitty like drunk Thor. Like party Thor.
It's not even like serious Thor or like fucking reborn Thor. It
was one of those things where like because I liked her a lot in this episode too. I thought because like it's weird because like I feel like we rarely get to see her even in the MCU sometimes. Yeah. So it was nice to have some space with her where she can actually like interact with characters and she's not like defending the world from like galactic destruction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought like her character of just being like basically like the cop that has to show up at the college to like take the dude home. I was like, this is pretty good. Like it made her really like she was really like likable in this episode because like you could tell that like she was annoyed with Thor. But she was like, okay, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to, because like clearly she could beat him, but she was like, okay, how do I do this without like beating the shit out of him? Like, I enjoyed that she was trying the other option. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you, man. I think for a lot of reasons that I think are really unjust. A lot of people give Brie Larson a lot of flack for her portrayal of Captain Marvel in the films.
Yeah.
And I think she, even though from on the one hand you could call her in this episode like the ultimate Karen or whatever, I don't think that's true. But I think that your characterization is perfect. And also like imagine like you told Nick Fury like only use this in case of emergencies, all right? And then Maria Hill uses the beeper. It's like, hey man, we got like this drunk guy that's throwing the biggest party of all time. Can you stop it? Like, no, not like the planet's about to explode. Not like, oh, Thanos is here with the Infinity Gauntlet. It's literally like, hey, man, like, there's a giant party. We need you to break it up. Like
that fight was so good between them. Like, when they're like flying all over and like Stonehenge gets fucked up and they're like in the desert. Like, it was like a really fun fight to like watch.
I mean, and I think that sums up the episode, man. Like, this is just such a fun episode that,
Yeah.
like, it reminds me of Ant-Man in that way, where it's just like it's okay for us to have like an episode or a movie where it's just like not everything is the world ending. It's just like
Yeah.
people are having a good time, we can laugh and just go on like a wacky adventure sort of thing.
Yeah. And it has such a wholesome ending until dot dot dot
Until
until
I,
fucking ending.
yeah, I do think the ending was so wholesome too. It's that classic feeling of like, you know, we all hear about the parts like, oh man, we have to clean up, and of course this time it's not just like, oh, we gotta clean up the room or whatever. You gotta clean up the entire planet because this dude threw the biggest party of all time. Like,
Okay.
it was great, man. It was a great episode, and I really want to give a big shout out to Chris Hemsworth especially. I don't think they got Brie Larson to do Captain Marvel. I don't.
I
Think
was
she
gonna
returned.
ask. I wasn't sure. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if it was her.
I
Yeah.
I don't think it was her, but I think who the person who did
You did a great
play.
job.
I thought, yeah, Alexandra Daniels as Carol Danvers slash Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that she was good. I thought
I'm
she was good.
I'm surprised that Brie Larson didn't come back for the role.
Yeah, I'm
Huh.
not sure. From what I hear, there was like some scheduling conflicts
Okay.
with some of the actors. Also, I'm sure some of it is money. Like trying to get Robert Downey Jr. back to do this, I'm sure would have cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But regardless, great episode. I also love how this episode, like the premise is, what if Thor were an only child? The only thing that's different is that he's more stupid and more irresponsible. There's no like, there's
Yeah.
no grand thing about how like, oh, he turned into a villain or whatever. It's just like, nope, he's just more
No.
stupid and more
No.
more
It took a
irresponsible.
little longer for him to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. It was great. All right,
Can I-
so we move on to the next one, episode 8. What if Ultron won?
You know what's
Um,
funny? You know what's funny about this is I watched because I watched it a little bit out of order, like I said.
Yeah.
Because I watched episode 8 before I watched episode 7.
Oh, really?
So I thought, because it was really interesting, right? Because like the way episode 8 ends with you think Ultron, because basically the premise of this episode is that Ultron gets he gets the vision body that he wanted,
Yep.
and he gets that stone. So basically, he just kills everybody on the planet because he's
Yeah.
just too powerful. And then he gets the Infinity Stones and he just kills
Right.
the entire universe.
Right.
And so basically, what happens is like what we saw with Strange Supreme, he's able to see the Watcher, which
Right.
and he basically just beats the shit out of the Watcher for a while. But I thought it was interesting because like the episode ends and like you're not sure if like Ultron's gonna like start hopping from universe to universe.
Right.
And then you watch the Thor episode and it's like you kind of forget about him for a while, and then he comes back at the end when he shows up and he like in the portal to kill fucking, or not kill, but to fight the Thor bro. I thought
Thor
it was like
bro.
a good, I thought it was like a good it was a good way for him to come back.
Well, we're definitely just calling him Thor, bro, from now on.
Yeah.
That's
Bro.
perfect, Ethan. I love you. The perfect term. But going along with that, though, because oh no, we see that in the next episode. But in terms of this episode, what if Ultron won? I think it was really cool because this is similar to What If Zombies. Like, this is like a true post-apocalyptic like scenario, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone is dead, not
Yeah.
just like, some of the heroes. Like, it's literally just Black
Everyone.
Widow and Hawkeye, bro. Like,
Are the only people left?
yeah, literally those are the only ones left.
Yeah.
So I thought that was crazy to see. There's some stuff in here where I'm just like, I'm not sure how that works. Like, when they go to like the Siberia hideout and they find Arnim Zola, and they're like, oh, Zola, we need you to help us, and he's like, well, he destroyed Hydra, so I guess I'll help you. It's like, sure. And then
Yeah,
and then like
it's a hand wavy. Yeah.
and then like they're just like, Hawkeye's like, oh, thank God I have my USB arrow on me. It's like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I feel like that's like Hawkeye's gimmick, though, right? It's just like,
always
I
have
just
stupid
have a
arrows.
convenient arrow right
Yeah.
here,
Mm.
conveniently placed
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
plot.
And there's also that part too where like Thanos arrives on Earth and Ultron just like literally one shots him, and it's like, oh, okay.
That was fantastic. I was like, oh my god, he's
And
dead.
he sliced him in half. It just boom, dead. I was like, wow, okay.
And they really milked
Didn't
that
even-
shot too. It's like you
Yeah.
stood there for a minute, you're just like,
And you're
Is he
like, it's
dead?
like, whoa, like it's gonna be a big fight, and then no, he just dies. Like, oh,
And
okay.
this is my one of my favorite parts in the show is like when Ultron like goes throughout the entire universe and like, basically destroys everything.
He's killing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the Watchers making these comments and like, And as Ultron destroyed everything, he soon realized he could ascend to a higher existence. And then like
Yeah.
Ultron's like,
Who
who's
said
talking
that?
right now? And like, and then the watch is like, what the hell? I started cracking up. I was dying, man. It was so funny. Like, I
What
was like,
the
yeah,
hell?
that's what happens when you talk all that shit.
What the hell? He's like, oh, he thought he was safe. He thought he was safe there, and he's like, oh fuck, he's coming for
Oh
me.
shit!
He's like, oh fuck, dude.
It was so funny, dude. Like the way he scrambles, like he like tried to close the portal and everything, and Ultron still
No,
found him. And I actually
no.
thought it was cool that like they had a fight a little bit. Like obviously, like they don't
Yeah.
explore all the powers, but I like how like even the Watcher has like his suit of armor or whatever, like tries to go toe to toe.
I
Like
thought he looked so silly with his giant head, his stupid baby head. He's like, yo, square up. Like, fucking, he looked like fucking Boss Baby. He was like ready to go. He was like, that's it. He was like,
Yo.
do get it.
yeah, man, it was pretty funny, and I do think like it was cool to see one. I think Ultron was really wasted. Me and Ethan had a very long discussion
Yeah,
with
I was
Jake
gonna
about
say.
how Age of Ultron was such a like there was so much potential to make that movie great, and they just like dropped the
Yeah.
ball. So I'm always happy to see more Ultron and just to see him used a little bit better.
I wish they would use the Ultron mask, like like the AI face. I wish they would
Yes.
use that more because they like refuse to use it. Like they
Yeah.
fucking because we see it like a little bit on his armor when he's like super Ultron,
Right,
but like
right.
most of the time it's just Vision's face, which
Yeah.
like which I'm like okay, like it's just a purple face. Like I thought it's way scarier if they used the AI face, but they never do. They refuse
Yeah.
to use it. They
I
always give him a
agree.
face.
I
Yeah.
agree, man. That that design is like again, it makes sense, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not the best sort of thing that they could do. I think on top of that too, it was cool. I do think it was a really nice moment in terms of like switching the roles, right? When Hawkeye is the one who sacrifices himself.
That's true.
Yeah, in that way.
Yeah, instead
Yeah,
of the other way around.
instead of Black Widow, like oh sorry Vince, you didn't watch Endgame, but that's what happens in Endgame.
Tell him. What?
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see that in a way, in terms of them switching things, and also it's kind of depressing too. Like Hawk's like, I'm just tired, man. Like,
Hawkeye was so sad the whole
yeah,
time. He's like, I
Hawkeye's like,
can't do this. He's like, I can't do this, bro.
but I suppose it does make sense because remember what happened to him in between Infinity War and Endgame, right? When he was all like,
Yeah.
"Don't do that, don't give me hope," sort of thing. So I'm sure it's kind of similar feelings in that way. But yeah, I like this episode a lot. But not as good as Party Thor or excuse me Thor Bro as Ethan called him.
Bro. Yeah.
Or some of the other episodes. But I do think the premise is cool. It just, like we've said before, one of the issues that they have to move so fast that things happen and just like, sure, whatever sort of
Yeah.
thing.
It's basically like 15 minutes of Ultron just destroying everything, and then
Yeah.
it's like okay, let's wrap this up. Like,
Yeah. It was
Like-
also cool. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was also cool to see that Ultron actually used the Infinity Stones to their full potential in terms of like literally
Yeah.
just destroying planets. Now, granted,
That's true.
one could be like, well, actually, when Thanos used it to eradicate half the
Yeah.
universe, the stones destroyed themselves. Like whatever.
Yeah.
I do think it was cool to see that like he actually just was literally omnipotent sort of thing. Like no one could touch him sort of thing. But that didn't make sense for the next episode, which we'll get into.
The best part of this episode was definitely like the reveal that like the Watcher's gotta make a team. He's like, 'cause he goes to fucking Strange Supreme, and he's like, "Hello." He's like, "You need me?"
Yeah. Now
it was weird how like calm the guy was. Because, like,
Casual,
the last
yeah.
time we see him, he's like sobbing, and he's just like, "Hey, like, oh, I'm all right now. I'm all right. I'm good now.
Listen,
I'm
I learned my
good.
lesson. Okay, I learned my
I'm
lesson.
good."
Uh,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask both of you: were you expecting a cross? I was not. I was fully
No.
expecting to be like, "What if Ultron won and that was it?" Like sort of thing.
No, I didn't. I was totally surprised by the fact that they like it started to come together at the end. I had no idea they were gonna do that.
How about you, Vince?
I don't really know where to like. Again, like I was like riding through this whole roller coaster again. I don't know what the fuck is happening half the time.
Sure.
And then like when he came in to like come to like Doctor Strange's like bubble verse,
Mhm.
jewel verse, whatever you want to call it. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be fucking sick. I was like, he's gonna assemble the
Yeah.
Avengers. These knockoff
Yeah,
ghetto ass
basically.
adventures.
Marvel always has to do the crossovers. It's all
I
about
mean,
the tie-ins and the
I mean,
crossroads.
like, I don't want every what if season to be structured this way, but I actually really like the fact that they tied it all together in this cool way. I was
Hmm.
very surprised by it, and I was happy to see it because, especially kind of like what we've all been saying, there are standout characters in each of the episodes that we all want to see more of, and this is a cool
Yeah.
way of bringing all those back. Was definitely a little weird when they had like the Gamora thing. I was like, wait, who is this character? What? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, are we supposed to know who this is? But that was the episode that was cut during production, so it kind of makes sense, sort of thing. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah, there was supposed to be an episode about
Oh
Gamora. Yeah,
Yeah,
shit!
because I noticed that. I was like, why is she there?
yeah,
Okay. Oh, I
yeah.
was like, wow.
I said the same thing. I was like, huh? Who?
Yeah.
But nah, man, I thought it was so funny when he brought all the characters together. And of course, this motherfucker Thor bro comes in like, excuse me, can I have a beer? It's like, come on, man. Like, the Watcher literally just talked about how the world is about to end. Ultron has all the
Yeah.
Infinity Stones. Just like, man, I need a beer. Like, oh, come on, man. Like, just Thor
Yeah.
bro being Thor bro.
I guess we're moving on to the 9th episode.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. The
It was a great finale. I honestly, like, it was a pretty good group. Like, because like it was all these like random characters from all the
Mhm.
different universes brought together. And
Right.
I like that, like, even though it was just one episode, they gave them like space to like talk a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when they're like around the campfire and like at the bar, like they got to like know
They're
each
all
other a little
holding
bit.
drinks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
One last toast, guys. Like he's about
Yeah.
to be here anytime soon.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I love the part where like Strange is like trying to come up with a speech, and John's like, man, just stop. Let's just toast. Like,
That's enough of that.
yeah, it's like, come on, it's over. But I do like how they try to gather all the team, and just kind of the dynamics, kind of like what Ethan was saying before. I also love the part where Thor tries to leave and almost like literally dies. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And once they get started, man, I think my favorite episode moment of this episode is when, as soon as Thor sees Ultron, he does a war cry. It's not even like for Asgard.
Yeah.
It's not like for my father Odin. It's literally Viva Las Vegas. I was like,
was
oh
so
my
good.
god, oh, I cracked up, man. That was
Gosh.
actual comedy, man. But it was a good fight too. How'd you all feel about that initial fight on that planet, sort of thing?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, I like that.
I liked watching because it was cool. Like you said, it was cool watching Ultron like use all the different stones,
Right.
like to like using them like each individually. The thing is, like, I kind of forgot what each stone did, so I was like, whenever he used one, I was like, okay, I guess that one does that. One. Okay. I was like, that one does that. Okay, but yeah, I thought it was really cool, like visually.
Well, how about you, Vince?
No, I agree with Ethan because like I didn't watch Endgame. I didn't
Right.
watch Infinity War.
Yeah,
So it was literally the same reaction of like, oh, okay, that's a time
that
stone.
one does that one.
I was like, okay. This next one. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, it does that.
Yeah,
I'm with both of you. I know like that the names of the stones. I just don't know what colors which besides.
color. Yeah, you're like,
Besides-
what?
I just know that time is green because of Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto sort of thing. But
Yeah.
the other ones, I'm just like, wait, which one is that one again?
I think soul is yellow. I think the soul is yellow. I'm
no,
not sure.
I think yellow's the soul or mind. It's one of those.
Mind is yellow.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then I think purple is I don't remember. Anyway,
power.
but I liked that they had a plan. I thought it was cool that because again, it harkens back to Infinity War, how there was a plan, right, to get the gauntlet off of Thanos until Star-Lord fucked it up for everyone. But also, I thought it was cool that they added a little bit some Easter eggs, right? How they dumped all the zombies on Ultron. I thought that was very cool.
The
And then the
zombies
reveal is
coming
like, oh, it's not just about the zombies because it's about a zombie Wanda sort of thing. I thought that was really cool as well.
She fights him for a bit.
Exactly.
She doesn't even fight him. She gets scared. She's like,
She
oh,
does get
shit.
squished, yeah, because the plan explodes and it's like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, but I mean that was a callback too a little bit to kind of how dangerous or how powerful Wanda is because she literally almost like one shots or excuse me solos Thanos in Endgame sort of thing. Of course Thanos without the gauntlet sort of thing. But just shows how powerful she is. So it was cool to see all those things. I like the subtle foreshadowing or hinting at Killmonger having like a plan of his own.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have
He's an
liked,
asshole.
yeah, because he's Killmonger, of course.
Fucking asshole.
I would have liked to have seen him like maybe do a bit more character interactions. Like, it would have been so
Yeah.
cool to like see him interact with Star-Lord, T'Challa, or a little bit more. given the
It must have
relationship.
been so awkward. It
Yeah.
must have been so awkward. You're like, it's like, so what happened in what happened in your universe? It's like nothing. Don't worry about
no,
it.
don't worry about
Nothing happened. Don't worry about it.
it.
But because when the Watcher picked Killmonger, I was like, why would you pick the biggest asshole in the universe? Then it was like, oh, okay, I see
Right,
it. But even then, I was like, I get why that he brought all the different characters because it's like fun. But like
right.
a part of me was like, wait, why don't you just bring like Captain Marvel from every universe?
Yeah.
Beat up because like she almost took him by herself, so I was like, just bring a bunch of them. Like,
Right.
but yeah.
What do you remember? What the name of the device that they used to try and get the Infinity Stones off of Ultron was? I forget, but I thought it was kind of cool how they literally had this device. It didn't work in the end, but I thought it was cool. It was just like, all right, we got it. Just hold him down, hold him down, while we like literally extract the stones from him, sort of thing.
The weird Crusher.
Yeah. The Infinity Crusher. The Infinity Crusher.
Yeah.
I
guess
thought
that was
cool.
probably more from the episode that got cut.
Yep, the cut episode. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm still don't fully understand. Like, don't get me wrong. The way they shot Ultron with the arrow to upload Zola into Ultron was really cool. I thought that was like awesome. Still doesn't make sense in my head about like why Zola would be able to overpower Ultron. Like they said something about like, well, Zola's analog and Ultron is digital. It's like,
it's just
whatever.
AI. It's AI stuff. Don't worry about it.
Right? Like
Don't
whatever.
worry about it.
But still, it was a cool scene. And I also like that the Strange Supreme or what do they call
Strange Supreme
goes through a bit of a character arc because he's very much the team leader at this point, sort of thing. He casts the protection spell. He's the one who's trying to like make sure everyone's all right. He's trying to like almost solo Ultron at some point. I thought that was really cool.
I saw a funny meme on the internet where it was like the Cosmic Avengers with at 100% and it shows all of them, and then it's the Cosmic Avengers at 99% power and it's just Supreme, and it's like because he was doing so much work in this episode, like without him, like he was clearly like the strongest one there.
Yeah. I mean, like again, it goes. There's a point where it's just like, okay, Ultron technically could literally just think someone out of existence, but then you can't really have a really good story from that. But like, I remember when Star-Lord T'Challa like tackles Ultron and like puts him into like the building and like starts shooting him. I'm sure it's just like tickling, like for Ultron, Star-Lord's T'Challa's doing his best, but I'm sure it wasn't
the power imbalance was too much.
Yeah, man. Like there are tiers to this thing, you know what I'm saying? But it was cool. Did you guys feel like the payoff of that fight, how it ended, right? Because obviously we know that Killmonger and Zola start kind of going at it once Ultron is kind of defeated. How'd you all feel about the way it kind of wrapped up in that way?
It was all right.
It was one of those.
It was like lukewarm,
Yeah. It was one of those things though where it was like how do they get themselves out of this? You know what I mean? Like because like just having the AI take over, like it obviously like that wouldn't work because then Zola takes over. Plus it's like kind of like lame if it's just like one arrow and like that and like it was one of those things where it was like I guess they wanted to be like they wanted like a twist. You know what I mean? But like all they had was like Killmonger, so they were like, okay, I guess Killmonger's gonna try and be evil. It gets stuck, I guess, in another pocket universe forever. I like how that Killmonger basically just vanishes from his universe forever. Like he's just gone. That's it.
He doesn't return. He's just
he never comes back. He's just gone. And they're like,
just lost our Black Panther. Well,
he's gone. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it wasn't like a holy shit kind of ending. But it was like okay, all right, you did it.
I'm actually with both of you. I think the way in which they defeated Ultron, while stupid in terms of what I was saying before, I still think it looked very cool. But in terms of like the ending, it wasn't like at the end of Infinity War, I was like, oh my god, like that was one of the best endings I've ever seen. But like for this one, it was like it's an animated show, whatever, like sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm with both of you. How'd you all feel about like I guess like the post? I don't know if I call it post credit scene because like there's a whole bunch of different things that happen. But how'd you all feel?
The scene at the bar again where he's like talking to everybody and they're all leaving again.
Yeah. I like there was that little callback too, where Captain Carter's like, "Don't you think I've deserved like a dance or whatever sort of thing?" Just again, throwback a little bit. And I do think it was cool too how when she goes onto the boat, just like in Winter Soldier, and apparently they got the guy who played Batroc the Leaper, the same guy, George St. Pierre, famous UFC fighter, to still voice the character. I was like, God, you guys
Wow.
are really like
For
digging it
real.
for these guys for real.
No.
Um, but I thought that was cool that they basically recreated that scene,
Yeah.
and then it was cool to have that spoil not spoiler that stinger, right, where there's an armor that's discovered where it's assumed that it's Steve, I guess.
Steve is
Is
in
it
there.
evil Steve? Is it evil Steve? I don't know.
Evil
Zombie
Steve.
Steve.
Evil Steve. Is he super fucking old now? Like, what?
Yeah, who
What
knows?
happened?
It would certainly be interesting, but yeah. So, is there anything else you guys want to say about episode 9 before we talk some other stuff about the series
I mean, I
and
will
wrap
say,
things up?
like, I did like the payoff with the post credit for Black Widow. She was the last person
Yeah,
alive
yeah.
in her universe.
And
So
she's like, I'm
like,
not going back. And he's like, well, okay. Like, I guess
I
I'll
was
go
like,
somewhere else.
I was like, here's a Natasha. Here's a universe where Natasha dies.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury calls it out. I was
Yeah.
like, Natasha died, but it was just like, I guess you'll do.
I guess. I'm not going to question it. It's fine. I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it was good. I like that they tied it all back, and of course Loki was the one who was defeated. It's like
Always Loki.
it's always Loki.
Like, "Huh?"
This guy just can't win, man. He can't win.
He's always the first boss. Yeah.
Well, so I think we've gone through all the episodes. Did you feel like that this was a good amount of episodes for the season? Obviously, they had to cut one. Or were you expecting a little bit more? Do you think they should have cut some? How'd you all feel?
What do you think, Vince?
I thought it was a good start off. If I was
Yeah.
saying, like, to
Mm.
me, like, it harked back onto like those days where it's just like you just saw animated pilots, like back in like when we had like cable and shit,
Right.
where it's like they would just like play on like these pilots for cartoons, and you just be like, are they gonna make another episode? It's like, no, it's just a
No.
pilot.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I'd love to see more what if episodes, you know, but like you said, Adam, with like they don't have to assemble, right?
Yeah,
Right.
they don't have to assemble.
But it's just like it'd be sick for like a team up, you know, or something
Yeah.
like that, where it's just like the watchers just narrating. Like I'm fine with that episodic feel. I feel like
Mhm.
that's the strongest part about, you know, Western animation is like the episodic arc
Right.
rather than the overall arc, right? Because like I felt like even with the overall arc, where it's just like you have the watcher and then you see his character development throughout this whole
Yeah.
ordeal where he has to
Yep.
break his oath. It was
Mhm.
just like it was a little weak because I was just
I
like
felt like
we could definitely
because
use
I
a
was
little
like
bit more time with like his
Yeah.
race, like you guys
Yeah.
said.
because like I was like at the end of the show, I was still like, what does the Watcher like do? Like what is his job?
I was like,
Like,
what is the watcher?
why are you watching? Like he's just watching because he has that speech in episode 9 with Natasha where she's like, you don't care about it, you just watch, and he's like, no, your stories mean everything to me, and I was like, but you just watch, like you just watch, dude. Like you're just sitting there. That and I guess he broke his oath, so I don't know if that's gonna be like a thing
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. But I guess we're probably gonna find out more in season 2 because it's probably gonna be like he gets in trouble sort of thing.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I was left wondering like what his actual job is.
Yeah, I certainly think so. And we've talked a little bit too about how some of the episodes could use maybe a bit more time to flesh things out. But I do want to agree with Vincent. I think this is a really strong like freshman season. Like, hey, like you guys had a really cool concept here, and for the most part, like I don't think any of the episodes were horrible. Maybe some were better than others, but none were just like, okay, like guys, like
Yeah,
how did you even like get past a script phase sort of thing for this?
yeah,
Which is really hard to do. I think, especially for a show like this, an anthology format. And I think it's so cool that every single episode is like kind of like a different genre, right? So episode 3, where all the heroes die, is like a murder mystery, right? Um, the Thor episode is basically just like a college frat bro party movie sort of thing. Zombies is a horror comedy. I think that was a
yeah.
really cool part of the anthology format.
You know what's funny is that I realized is that there's two types of what if episodes.
Right.
There's the what if where everything's perfect, everything's great, and the other one where everyone fucking dies. These are the two episodes that they have basically. Like there's like no in between. You're like, okay, like,
What if has no chill, man? It's only extremes, man. We can't ever be in the middle.
yeah.
A couple other things I just want to touch on, get you guys' thoughts on before we wrap things up. We talked a little bit about the acting direction here. Obviously, some stuff is really good, some stuff is kind of whatever, which is okay. It's kind of expected of an animated show of this nature. Um, uh, was there anything about the score, or the soundtrack that stood out to you? We talked about the intro, and I think the intro is really good, but I personally didn't see anything or hear anything. I was just like, oh wow, that's really good, or wow, that's really good, and like score or soundtrack, whatever.
Score, I didn't really notice that much. Other
Yeah.
than like I
Yeah.
think occasionally the Avengers thing played occasionally, but
Yeah, yeah.
that nothing stood out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really hark back to anyone's themes either throughout like the whole What If
The
Mhm.
thing is,
series.
the MCU doesn't really have themes that are that
Yeah,
crazy.
like there's
Yeah,
like the Avengers theme, and then there's
that's
like
it.
that's it.
That's it.
that's it.
Like all I know is that dun, da, da, that's it. That's the only thing I can remember. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the only like iconic score I can think of is Peggy's episode.
right.
We're just like, of course, that's just 1940s jazz, but like,
Exactly.
I'm just like so good. Some of the things are just like how they get the licensings for it, but also
Mhm.
because like some of the songs on that were just like really old and
Right.
like deep into the archives, and I was just like, how the do you get like licensings for that? But
Right.
that's just my own shtick. My own shtick on it. Everything else is like kind of whatever, like big cinema,
Mhm.
big orchestra, just a lot of bass, a lot of violins. I'm just like, okay. It's like
Okay.
your typical cinema score.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. And finally, I know we touched on a little bit about the animation, the art, but was there any other episodes or particular moments either of you want to call out in terms of the art aspect of the show before we wrap things up? Good or bad, by the way, because obviously you can't always be 100% perfect with
I
a
mean,
show
there
like
were there
this.
there were some shots sometimes where you could kind of tell like it looked like a PS2 game or something. It was like just occasionally like in like unimportant shots, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
like that's just like a thing of the 2.5D. Like occasionally it just looks like that, or like, what the?
Hmm.
yeah.
But
I was like, I had some issues with like fucking Doctor Strange's model when he was like before Strange.
Right.
When he was a doctor, and I was just like, this looks. I was like, this is rough. I was like, this could definitely use a little bit more time
to
to.
be fair, like I think it's hard to model Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
They're like, how do we put him in? Okay.
No, yeah, that's true. Like one of the hardest things to do is how do you design a character off of celebrities, and like I hope we get away from that next time. Like especially where I'm just like you could find it too is like it's kind of a trend where just like now we're just basing everything off of like the celebrities
Hmm.
voice acting, the characters themselves. It's just like, can you really say that's true Thor, or is just that just Chris Hemsworth?
Mm.
Right.
Is it Star Lord, or is it actually Chris Pratt?
Well, it's
Right.
tough because I think they add so much to the character,
Yeah.
right?
Plus, it's in the MCU, right? It's not like, oh, this is like an animated show that's not set in the MCU. This is literally set in the MCU, so it makes sense that they're
They kind
thought
of
about
have to
it.
work. They kind of
Exactly.
stuck working
Yeah,
off of
they're
it
stuck
off the
Yeah.
working with it,
characters.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Hmm.
that's why I kind of enjoy like T'Challa as like Star Lord,
Mm.
because like it was such a different dynamic. I was just like, okay,
Right.
what if like you're used to Star Lord being like this fun sarcastic guy. I was like, now he's just T'Challa,
Yeah.
and like I enjoyed that aspect of it. Um,
Yeah.
but aside from that, shout out to the visual effects, heavy carry,
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
especially when it came to like episode 9 with Doctor Strange's runes and
Right.
protection charms. I
So,
was like, yo, that's sick. I
Yeah.
was like, this is a fantastic design choice. I
mm.
was like, whoever thought of this, I was like, big brained.
Yeah, I think the artwork aspect of the show, like nothing stood out to me as really bad, but all the costumes and kind of just the way they went about things,
Yeah.
I think was really good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to reading through the art book whenever it's released. All right, squad, let's wrap things up. So, Vince, as always, closing thoughts and final ratings.
Uh, what if? it was just a fun ride.
Hmm.
Really didn't I didn't expect much from it because like I'm just again just a casual fan, not so
Right.
much into the MCU universe or the comics. So
Hmm.
like seeing it from like again the outside in perspective, I'm just like this is just a fun show to like sit down and watch. I've also just come out of like watching Star Wars Visions from it.
Right.
So like with that anthology, with this anthology, um, I was just thinking, I was just like, this is fun. I actually enjoy the anthology aspect of like where things are
It's coming
going.
back a lot. This
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're gonna come back. Yeah.
And like it makes sense, right? Like it's fun. It like I think studios enjoy running that out. The logistics seem like hell, but
Sure.
Yeah.
but like production wise, it seems like everyone just had fun, and like that's like the main point of it, right? You could even like see it and hear it, right, with the What If series.
Hmm.
I'd say like overall aspect for my rating would probably be like a good 7.
Hmm. 7 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah,
I honestly thought you were gonna be a lot worse because I remember when you initially messaged me, you're like, "Man, what if sucks?" But like, I'm glad to
What
hear that
the
you kind of
fuck?
come around to it. What?
yeah. I don't like sit down and think. I'm like, man. I was like, what could make this better? I was just like, the animation. Like, it was just a 3D animation that was just like bad because like no one can figure out like what's good timing yet for
Right.
like 3D because like in 2D you can cheat with it with like fours
Yeah,
or
they did a
sixes.
lot of limited animation in the
Yeah,
show
they did a lot
Hmm.
sometimes.
of limited animation here, which is like it's hard to pull off in 3D because like you could obviously see it, right? And it's hard to like really like hide that,
Sometimes. Yeah.
and that's why like I give a lot of props to like whoever did the special effects the for the show because it hid a lot of that and actually like accentuated a lot of the acting too with like what was going on with the special effects and going on with the 2D effects. So shout out to them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the logistical nightmare of trying to make this series during a pandemic. So definitely big shout out to all the
Yeah.
team behind this, all the animators who I'm sure worked tirelessly to make this show what it is. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Ethan. Closing thoughts and final ratings.
9 out of 10, Adam.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Well,
I really liked it. I thought it did exactly what it wanted to do. It did it well, and actually it's one of like Vince was saying, it's just fun, and I
yeah,
think it's one of those things where it's like it's weird to say, but it would almost be a good intro Marvel thing for people who want to
yeah.
like get more into the MCU. Because you just like show them all these little bits, and they're like,
Hmm.
oh, this is nice. Because even though it's like what if and it's riffing off the old stuff, like it's pretty standalone, all of it.
Yeah.
So
That's actually a fantastic point. I'm glad you pointed it out that it is a good intro series. As always, we've said this before, but in terms of like Shang-Chi, like last time, but where would you rank it in terms of like MCU, like high tier, near the top,
oh,
still mid tier?
compared to all the actual movies,
Yeah.
but like they feel like different beasts a little bit. But
Okay.
I would definitely put it like up. Like if I had to, I would put it up near the top. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I respect it, man. So, similar to Vince, I definitely didn't have as much expectations going in, but I think that kind of helped because I just had so much fun with the series.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, it's just cool to see them take so many different risks or creative risks in terms of just like, hey, like what if this or what if that? And I'm sure they got a laundry list of other pitches that they've had, right, about what things they can do, what things they can't do. And I'm sure that will be explored in new season. So I'm very excited to kind of see where that kind of goes.
Because
And go ahead.
there's so many like random like stories from Marvel,
Oh
and now
yeah,
they can just do all of them. They can just do them all in the show because they're just like fuck it. Who
yeah.
cares?
I really hope I know there's an alternate Marvel story where instead of everyone like so there's Marvel zombies like there's like a Marvel like ape world or whatever where everyone's like a gorilla like
Yeah.
I want to see if they do that or something
What
like I
if
yeah
monkey?
yeah monkey
What if
apes
monkey?
apes together strong I think that would be really cool so overall love the series again not perfect but I agree that it's a lot of fun and if you just go in just to watch it I think that will help out a lot too like you don't expect this to be Infinity War or Endgame, but if you go in expecting like a pretty good time, I know I enjoyed it. Even as background, I think it works as well. Like just you don't have to be completely focused on or anything like that. So I personally give it a matinee. like a pretty solid matinee. I totally understand some people giving it a full price, but I really enjoyed the series, man, and I'm very excited for the future. And to kind of see where they take from this, and to see what characters from this series actually get their own spin-offs, kind of like what we were saying before,
Yeah.
like which ones are successful enough to get those kind of things.
Yeah.
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 So we'll see what the MCU has next. Next up, we have Eternals, which we'll see how that goes. It's pretty far out there.
I'm not watching
And
that.
then I think the next TV series is actually the Hawkeye TV series because it takes place during the holidays. So we're getting that around the holiday season. So we'll see how that goes. Debut of Kate Bishop. So hopefully the
Kate
MC yeah
Oh.
hopefully the MCU kind of keeps up their track record. But um, of course, before we go, Vince, any shout outs you want to give, words you want to say to the people? How can they follow you?
You can follow me at VLabs on any social platform with two L's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's it for what's going on.
Should people still hit you up if they have any job offerings or leads?
Yeah, if there's anyone who's interested in who needs storyboarders in action adventure type
Mm-hmm.
or 2D effects animators, hit me up on the DMs with that same handle.
All right, all right. You can always find those links in the description as well. Ethan, do you have shout outs this time, or we just
Bye.
okay? All right.
Bye. No, I have one thing I want to say
What?
to close this out.
Uh-huh.
Viva Las Vegas.
Ah,
Honestly,
the funny part is I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to say that as soon as I get off the plane.
Wow.
Uh,
Viva.
of course, I want to give a shout out to everyone who listened or watched this podcast. Always really appreciate anyone that listens and watches. We never do this for money or anything like that. It's just fun talking about this stuff with the people that you love. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Adam_bomb with 2 M's. And of course, subscribe, follow whatever it is on whatever platform you're doing so you can stay tuned for future episodes. And of course, like I said before, a big shout out to everyone behind the series. Applaud all of you for your hard work. Very, very job. Great job. Well done. But until then, take care of yourselves, everyone. Peace.